Well, are you ready for the big day? Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should be ashamed of yourself. It's Super Bowl Sunday, of course. One of the most watched television programs of the entire year is the Super Bowl. Some other fun facts about the Super Bowl. Did you know that the amount of chicken wings consumed on Super Bowl Sunday could orbit the Earth more than once? Did you also know that the day in which people call in sick for work most is the Monday after the Super Bowl? I love watching the Super Bowl because I'm a huge football fan. But one thing that's always bugged me about it is when you go to these Super Bowl parties, there's always those people who the only football game they watch all year is the Super Bowl, right? They don't know anything about the teams. They don't really know much about the sport at all. But they try to act like they do. They talk big. They might even brag a little bit about how they're this huge football fan. But in all reality, they only watch on Super Sunday. You know, the interesting thing is we encounter people in our faith life that are just the same. They talk a lot about Jesus. They talk a lot about having faith. But the fact of the matter is they haven't been to church in years. The fact of the matter is their Bible is buried in a dusty drawer somewhere. They talk big. But when it comes down to it, they're not very faithful people at all. Well, Paul addresses this exact issue in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 18 through 31. He talks about how no matter where we are in our faith, whether we're those people who go to church every Sunday or those people who never go to church, the fact of the matter is we have nothing to talk about. We have nothing to brag about. Because the fact of the matter is we are all sinful people, and we should be downright ashamed of how we act when it comes to faith in God. But thankfully for us, we have someone who we can boast about, Jesus Christ. For Jesus Christ died on the cross and rose again so that we may have life, and that's actually something to talk about. It's not for us to boast about our actions in faith, but to boast about Christ. And in fact, that's how Paul concludes his words in verse 31 of chapter 1 of 1 Corinthians. He says, if we are to boast, we should boast in the Lord, because he has truly done something wonderful for us. And all this talk about faith, if we're going to talk, if we're going to brag, we should brag about Jesus. I hope you enjoy the big game. Don't eat too many chicken wings.